They are in our laptops, our phones, our televisions, and these are just the more obvious everyday items associated with the consumer. It's no overstatement to say that the modern world is powered by microchips. The digitalization of everything means that the world has an insatiable appetite for chips. And now we are in a crisis with a global supply shortage and a world scrambling to secure enough chips to secure the wheels of industry. Let's talk about semiconductor microchips. Welcome to another episode of Money Matters. Ford and General Motors recently announced a temporary slowdown in production due to a lack of chips, with GM announcing that their earnings could suffer as much as $2 billion due to a temporary slowdown. US President Joe Biden signed an executive order to address the chip shortage through a review of its supply chains and to reduce dependency on foreign manufacturers. The companies that design the chips are called fabless companies, and the companies that manufacture the chips are called foundries. There are also integrated device manufacturers. These are companies that both design and manufacture the chips. In recent years, more and more companies are adopting the fabless model and outsourcing manufacturing to foundries such as TSMC, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company. And with activity in acquisitions and mergers, the semiconductor landscape is shifting. Throw in the pandemic in 2020 and this only accelerated our dependency on microchips. We worked and studied from home. We upgraded our computers. We bought webcams, Bluetooth devices. Video games saw an increase in sales, as well as hi-fi equipment, to name but a few. Behind the scenes, cloud infrastructure spending boomed, and with businesses needing to adapt, they improved their online offering to survive the lockdown. Semiconductor sales in 2019 was at $419 billion, and this increased by 6.5% to $439 billion in 2020, and with no anticipated slowdown post-pandemic. For the US and China, it's not just about economic security, it's about national security as well. We saw in the past the extreme scrutiny of Huawei and its supposed threat to national security. There was an over-reliance on their 5G technology, and the Biden administration seems determined to prevent such an occurrence happening again. China experienced supply issues after the Trump administration ordered trade tariffs and tried to block the export of chips to China entirely. But it's not just about the deglobalization of the supply chain, although this will happen in China, with the whole Huawei debacle being a catalyst for Beijing. No, I don't believe the US is in a position to self-manufacture entirely, but by being more competitive and by forming multilateral agreements with its allies, they'll be able to secure a reliable supply for the future. Beijing has made the supply of semiconductor chips one of its top priorities in its next 5-year plan, with independence being one of the 5 fundamentals to China's economic development. Beijing has earmarked $1.4 trillion to develop the semiconductor industry by 2025, with a goal of having 70% of chips used in China made in China. The aforementioned TSMC is one of the largest and most successful chip manufacturers in the world and continues to show signs of strong growth. Along with Samsung, they have entered into volume production in the latest 5nm process. To give some context, Intel are manufacturing chips using the 10nm process and were until recently still using the 14nm process. China will be ensuring they have their own chip foundries to secure enough microchips to power them into the future. The glutton supply is not specifically linked to the pandemic per se, but 2020 taught us that the world is dependent on chips today just as much as it was dependent on oil in the 70s. As we take concerted strides towards Industry 4.0, it is certain that microchips will pave the way. So the next time you buy an electronic device, try to find out where the chips inside came from and how many countries and companies were involved in its design and manufacture. you may be amazed just how interconnected the world really is. Thank you for joining me on this episode. Let me know what sort of topics you would like to see in future videos. If you've liked this video, smash the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next episode of Money Matters.